Welcome to day 10 of the Advent calendars. This year we're doing Guardians of the Galaxy, City and Friends. I'll start off, as usual, with Friends. Alright, day 10 is the top left corner. Let's see what our Friends calendar has for us today. Do you want to build a snowman? They don't pay me to sing. Alright, in Friends we have ourselves a snowman. Simple construction. We have our final brick. Lego's name for this part. I think it's supposed to be finial, but their official name for this part is the final brick. I just think that's hilarious. We put a Travis brick on top. The Travis brick is a 1x1 brick with studs on all four sides. It's called that because a guy named Travis, back in about 20 years ago, was a big builder of space models and had one of those bricks tattooed on his arm. And he passed away sadly, and in honor of his memory, some of us call it the Travis brick. Can you imagine having such an impact on a hobby that after you die 20 years later people are still referring to a part by your name? That's pretty cool. Anyway, little snowman. City day 10 looks like we have a woman with a broom. Over in City we have a minifigure, apparently female, with a broom. Looks like she's got a skull belt, so maybe this is a recycled hidden side element. Printed legs, printed torso, and it looks like she's wearing maybe pajamas or something, like a onesie. Her legs and you can see here the neckline and the front of her shirt or whatever underneath the jacket. And then sort of a skull belt and a jacket. And in the back you can see more of that belt, and you can see some sort of punk rock artwork, I guess. Really cool aesthetic. She's wearing heavy lipstick and eyeshadow, and on the back of her head she's got a smile with a corner of her mouth turned up and an eyebrow raised, and on the front she looks serious and ready for business. And to top it all off, she's got blue hair. So I'm really liking the aesthetic of this character. A little bit non-binary in terms of the hairstyle, very femme in terms of the makeup, and the outfit is just weird. So I'm into this. This person's got some real interesting fashion sense. And she's got a broom, so she is apparently sweeping her driveway or something, front walk maybe. I don't think she's a municipal worker. And she's too bundled up to be doing domestic and door work, so I think she's probably going to be shoveling snow or pushing snow. And then we've got a spare scarf for her. So that's a nice minifigure. And lastly, Guardians of the Galaxy. Day 10 is 2 radar dishes with some stuff inside. We'll find out what that is when we build it. We got ourselves 2 radar dishes, three stud diameter radar dishes in yellow. We've got a snot piece in the middle. This is another one of those pieces that is, kind of an unusual one. It's got studs on several sides. A little bit like that handheld piece we had a few days ago, where this piece, where we had a handheld piece with studs on 5 sides. This one is studs on 4 sides, but if you look at the studs on the side, you'll see that the one on my left, the black one, the studs on the end and on the sides are flush with the top of the brick, whereas the gray one on my right, they're flush with the bottom of the brick. In both cases, the brick is 2 plates high, but the alignment of the studs is different. So they have different uses in terms of snot construction. So, as you may be aware, the height of a plate relative to the width of a stud is 1 to 2.5. So a normal brick is 3 plates high, but the thickness of a brick is 2.5. So if we look at this Travis brick, for example, look at it end on, you can see it's a square. It's 2.5 plates on each side. So look at it on the side, it's 3 plates tall, which means that this stud is not in the center, but rather biased towards the top. So the distance between the stud and the top of the brick is the same as the distance between the stud and the side of the brick. In contrast, when we look at this guy, instead of being 3 plates tall, it's only 2 plates tall. So the bottom plate is sort of erased, if you will, from here, whereas here, the bottom, it's got that same spacing below the stud instead of above it. So the stud is a half a plate higher on the side of that brick than it is on this brick. So that's just a thing to think about when you're doing snot construction, that the spacing of the studs on the sides for some of these bricks gives you some interesting spacing options that you might not have had otherwise. Anyway, I digress. So we're going to put this guy back together here. We're going to put a 1x1 light orange brick on the end with a round transparent tile. And then on the side we're going to put, this is a piece I really love, this 1x3 jumper plate. This is a relatively new piece. For years we've had a 1x2 jumper plate, for decades really. But the 1x3 is really recent, and it provides some nice options that otherwise were very hard to do before. And we put the ingot on the one side. Now on the other side, oh, actually, you know what? This is on the top, because on the sides we're doing the radar dishes. So we're going to put a 1x1 round red on each side, and then there's a radar dish, and then on the end of this thing there's one of these transparent blue pieces, and then on the bottom we're going to go with a red plate. Now you'll notice after we've added this plate that this placement of this relative to the combination of the green and the red is similar to a normal brick with the stud on the side. And then we're going to put this with a clip facing that end, and this wasn't part of the model. And there we go. So whenever I don't recognize something right away in an advent calendar, I always consult Jay's Brick blog. He does a great job of explaining what everything is. In this case, it's a laser drill spaceship from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And I know I've seen that movie, but I, for the life of me, can't remember that. I'm sorry, I'm just a terrible consumer of pop culture. When it comes to Star Wars especially, that's why I stopped in the Star Wars Advent Calendar. And when it comes to Marvel, I don't watch those movies very much either, I'm afraid. But this one looked like it had some good parts and figures in it, so I went ahead and bought it. But, yeah, so this is a laser drill spaceship from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Here's the model with all of its spare parts. The red one ran away from my little scene a moment ago, but I found it. Today's original creation is a Windup Toy Robot. You turn this wind-up key in the back, charge him up like that, and then he will walk around and he'll move his arms, and he'll move his head back and forth, and, well, he doesn't actually move his legs. But that is my wind-up toy robot for today. There's the 3 models for today. Happy 10th of December, everybody. 2 weeks left till Christmas. Are you ready?